All right, today's a fun one. How many people have heard of The Day Before? Yes, no, a lot of you probably have. It's been a topic circulating on YouTube for quite some time, but today I want to go over start to finish and look at one of gaming's great mysteries over the past couple of years as we rapidly approach the time when that mystery will either get solved or once again continue. The Day Before, supposedly developed by Fantastic, has captivated fans of the survival gaming genre since January 29th of 2021. Initially revealed via IGN exclusive, of course it was them, the game itself looked incredible. On February 1st of 2021, the game was described as The Last of Us meets The Division, capitalizing on the hype of two massively popular contemporary titles with avid fanbases at the time, and through repeated promotional snippets from IGN, once again, the game managed to embed itself in the consciousness of a hype-driven industry. I'm not exaggerating when I say this, the gameplay looked incredible. People were hungry for this type of experience, and Fantastic was well aware of that fact. March 10th, 2021, the studio tweeted out that if their post received 10,000 likes on social media, they would publish a full-length video, and just 3 days later, their goal was achieved. This level of excitement prompted Fantastic to announce yet another special collaboration with, you guessed it, IGN. This time scheduled for March 31st, but one day before the planned event, it got postponed. The new date was April 6th, and as the hype continued to grow, so did the problems. April 6th, 2021, thousands of viewers flocking to the stream on the day of, and technical problems. Hours passed by, many hours, frustrations began to build, and eventually, gone, cancelled. That was the point where the picture began to change. However, in a last-ditch effort to maintain their momentum, Fantastic announced a new date of April 9th. Expectations were starting to fall, the atmosphere had noticeably soured, obviously, but on April 9th of 2021, it happened. Once again released and promoted by IGN, a 13-minute gameplay trailer finally dropped, and for a lot of people, it was a slam dunk. Vehicle mechanics, combat, looting, crafting, you name it, it looked good, and the trailer quite rapidly became a mainstream focal point of the entire industry. The video garnered millions of views, hundreds of reactions from streamers or YouTubers, and a community of players who seemed perfectly primed for maximum excitement, latched onto this game and were sucked into the void of industrialized hype. Oddly enough, some players started to look backwards, and when compared to the original announcement trailer, certain aspects began to look like a bit of a downgrade. Still, in an industry where the survival genre in particular was suffering from a sort of perceived content drought, the gameplay trailer itself was extremely well received. Things were looking good. Fantastic had delivered something worth talking about, at least in terms of promotional content, and a lot of players began to forget about the bumps in the road that they had experienced before then. Time went on, people forgot, yet suddenly Fantastic began dropping hints again. Hints about some sort of mega event. Repeated short videos began to drop with a collage-style poster being filled in over on social media, elevating the levels of excitement to critical mass. Some people thought the game was about to just spontaneously drop and release. Others thought it would be early access, or a demo, or a beta, or something that would justify the tagline of mega event. But when the day finally came, disaster. A flashy little scripted 3-minute trailer, and yes, an official release date was unveiled, but the entire thing had been engineered as a bait and switch, as the developers revealed an entirely separate video game called Prop Night. Now, Prop Night was a veritable clone of games like Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight, and the audience rightly felt kind of betrayed. However, with an actual release date and a little bit more promo content that they had gotten, the situation slowly stabilized. At least there was a time frame now, and the deadline wasn't too far away. Also, Prop Night did kind of end up being popular. It wasn't a terrible game, so that softened the blow a little bit. When it came to that release date, though, no such luck. May 5th, 2022, once again reported on by IGN, the day before succumbed to a substantial delay. Instead of utilizing Unreal Engine 4, the game would now be ported to Unreal Engine 5, and the subsequent new release date was set for March 1st of 2023. Not so bad, and clearly an actual reason had been given, but considering the context, a lot of people began to lose faith yet again. It's important to remember, crucial in fact, at this point in time, the day before was the most wishlisted game on all of Steam, even beating out major AAA titles like Starfield from Bethesda, which was highly anticipated, as it was talked about far and wide by pretty much every single gaming commentator or news outlet that even passively covered survival, multiplayer, or loot-based games. The industry had embraced the day before. IGN in particular had propelled it to a spotlight, and now expectations had reached critical mass. June 27th, 2022, the implosion of Fantastic's reputation officially began. Gaming press came alive with stories about how The Day Before was being developed by unpaid volunteers. Now, for context, this was and still is a time where gaming journalism is hyperfixated on topics of worker treatment, unionization, and crunch. The wheels of gaming media are turned in a particular direction right now, and the most anticipated game on all of Steam asking people or developers to do unpaid labor in exchange for participation certificates became a very juicy story. Headlines began to mount, and eventually Fantastic decided to issue their version of a response on Medium. Here's what they said.
Whatever you do in life, you do it willingly or unwillingly. If you do it willingly, it becomes a heaven. If you do it unwillingly, it becomes a hell. Fantastic culture is based on the idea of volunteering. Being a volunteer means that you willingly take part in working for a common cause.
The idea of volunteering comes from our own experience and aspiration, or in other words, to become a person who says yes to life. Volunteering means that in every action you take, you bring a certain pleasantness.
That video was obviously kind of ridiculous. What does that even mean? But as all eyes turned towards them, eagerly and angrily awaiting more information, things only got worse. Hyped up once again with tidbits and social media posts, Fantastic put out a YouTube video about life at the company, specifically how we work on The Day Before. But this video was just a thinly veiled promotion of their remote work application called Continent. Actually, they had been fairly aggressively promoting that application as far back as November of 2021, and at this stage, the gaming community was getting very sick of it. Up till now, the company had repeatedly soured public opinion, but at the very least, they had managed to hold their head above water, kind of. But all of that was about to change. In January of 2023, the store page for the game got removed. The most anticipated game on all of Steam had been struck down, but why? Well, according to the developers in a now deleted post on the Steam forums, quote, "We are currently experiencing a minor technical difficulty with our game's visibility on the Steam store page. This is a known bug that has affected multiple titles in the past. Please note that Steam regularly conducts maintenance on Tuesdays, and this issue will likely be resolved during that time. We kindly ask that you refrain from sending negative messages or joining in with the complaints of others. Rest assured that our game will be visible on the Steam store again once the maintenance is complete. Patience is key," end quote. Oh, good, a condescending post, and it's just a glitch. But no, it wasn't. Because less than 1 day later, Fantastic announced on social media that the game had been delayed as a result of an unexpected trademark dispute. Quote, "Right before release, Steam blocked our game page at the request of a private individual because of the name The Day Before. As you know, our game was announced in January of 2021. At the time of the announcement, The Day Before game trademark was available. After the announcement of the game, the above-mentioned individual filled out an application before us to register the game trademark The Day Before in the United States. Previously, we were not aware of the existence of claims. We found out about this only on January 19th, 2023, when we received a complaint from him and a request to contact him. Now we find out all the circumstances of the incident, and we will definitely solve everything. We previously planned to post a lengthy gameplay video later this month, but we'll have to sort this issue out first. We will post a video ASAP. As a result, and this is very important, as a result, we have made the difficult decision to postpone the launch to November 10th, 2023. We understand this may disappoint many of our fans, however, we want to ensure we release the best possible game. Our 100% focus remains on the game itself and how to deliver you the best game possible. Thank you, and we hope for your support," end quote. That was extremely odd, to say the very least, and put it kindly. See, the trademark dispute was very real. Evidence of that is easily accessible online, but that same evidence also made it clear that they had been notified, and they should have been aware long before this that the trademark would be a problem. But as if to cement the fact that nothing they said could ever be taken at face value, 2 days later, once again published by IGN, in what seems to me like kind of a puff piece, Fantastic co-founders Eduard and Isin Gotovstev, I think is how you say it, acknowledged that they had actually been planning to delay the game anyway, regardless of whether or not the trademark dispute had happened at all. Over the span of just 3 days, 72 hours, the company had said, "It's just a glitch on Steam, don't worry about it, Tuesday's maintenance will definitely fix it." Pivoted over to, "Oh my gosh, there's a trademark emergency we didn't know about. that they did, or at the very least, absolutely should have known about, and then pivoted again over to the delay was planned regardless, and published that through obviously a favorable media outlet, IGN, who has been systematically promoting the game since day one. No matter how you slice it, things did not look good for them. Still, pushing forward, the company did publish a new gameplay trailer about 1 week later, but considering the chain of events so far, and its reception, maybe they shouldn't have. First, it got downvoted into oblivion, obviously, but even worse, players began to realize that the visual fidelity and just overall quality of the game, or the footage that they were seeing, had now been decreased substantially at every single stage of the cycle. In 2021, the game looked like this on Unreal Engine 4. In 2022, the game looked like this, and in 2023, on Unreal Engine 5, after a wildly suspicious delay, the game looked like this. How is it that porting something to a superior engine, while also having additional years to work on it, can result in systematic downgrades every time it gets shown publicly? These are the questions that the community began to ask, aggressively, and Fantastic didn't have any answers. Instead of clarity, or even transparency, a basic version of it, they decided to frame the situation as disinformation and lack of fact-checking, while asserting that people will say anything for views, and claiming that post-release they would help other developers combat this type of situation when it happens to them. But the tides of public opinion had completely shifted against them, and the once darling child of IGN and survival gaming fans all across the world, #1 wishlisted on Steam, had become an industry pariah. Over the next few months, the studio would continue to release tiny snippets of gameplay or screenshots or whatever, but in August of 2023, a final update occurred. According to USPTO records, a new trademark had been filed by Fantastic for the title Dayworld, indicating that they may actually be pursuing a new moniker for launch, but also showcasing that they might be headed straight for another legal battle, since Dayworld is a long-established series of futuristic sci-fi novels. Regardless of personal opinion, The Day Before is one of gaming's currently active great mysteries. Is it a real product? Are they making gameplay trailers and rendering them to manufacture hype on vertical slices of a game that doesn't really exist? Are they desperately trying to make a real game with an army of unpaid volunteers? Or is it all just a vehicle to capitalize on viewership and launch completely different products like Prop Night or that work-from-home application thing, Continent, that they make? The truth is, nobody actually knows. And maybe November 10th rolls around and we get a great new survival game. I mean, I'd put it at like 2% odds. But in my opinion, it's more than likely that when the time comes, we will face another delay or some kind of last-minute excuse, whatever it may be, and the cycle will continue a little bit longer. It's also possible the fire is dead and they will just sort of disappear, but all of it remains to be seen because the mystery has a kind of an expiration date on it, right, if you will. And that expiration date of November 10th, or at least the continuation date, is fast approaching. Bottom line, The Day Before is enigmatic in the gaming industry and fascinating when it comes to the track record of becoming the most anticipated game on all of Steam, which doesn't even seem to be real and no one actually knows. I guess we'll find out soon. That's it. If you want to support, there are links down below, primarily locals, Patreon, and channel memberships. Far better than typical AdSense for anyone who cares. Also merchandise, cybersecurity products, and more. If you want a VPN, by the way, anyone who wants a VPN and doesn't have one already, consider Surfshark and use my link down below in the description. That's a really good way to support as well. Also, Surfshark has stuck with the channel for a really long time, so I'm trying to use that affiliate link and kind of transition over to that more on typical videos. But anyway, I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.